guys, welcome back to my YouTube channel. Today's video is going to be another follow along stretching routine. This one is dedicated towards our middle splits. However, we will be also going over our pancake as well as our pike words are so hard. Pike sit and reach is what I was trying to say. So we're gonna be going through all of those today. So all you're gonna need in terms of equipment, super basic, just a stretching mat, so a yoga mat if you have one, something soft for underneath your knees, so whether you wanna like fold up a sweater, a towel, or even have like a therapeutic foam pad, that would be great. Just some stretches are a little bit more single-sided on that knee to avoid any bruising. And then also just to grab 2 yoga blocks or 1 yoga block just to kind of help prop you up in some stretches to make it a little bit more comfortable. And then either a stretching band or rope, again, just to kind of help with that range of motion for some of the stretches to help modify it for any level that you're at. If you guys like this video, there are similar ones found on my app, which I'll link right here below. But if you also like this video, make sure to like, subscribe, and comment, and let's get started. I should probably say, I don't know why, in my head I was like, oh, say this fact. But in terms of how frequently you should do this routine, I would recommend if you're someone who's actively trying to get their middle splits at least 3 times a week. If this is just something that you want to kind of help increase your lower body mobility, doing between 1 to 2 times a week or whenever you kind of work your lower body would be a great add into your routine. So now we can get started. Now we can grab our equipment and get into our stretching routine. So we have our yoga mat right behind us all set, but I wanted to come a little closer to show you the other pieces of equipment I'm using. So first off, we have our strong blocks by Base Blocks. I do like using these because they also double as just yoga blocks, but for anyone who's very not flexible, the added handle makes it really easy just to be holding your positions for the stretches in a lot more of a comfortable manner, just because that added height, does make it a little bit easier. We have our stretching band slash like piece of fabric. So this is obviously like, it's not resistance band, it's just like a piece of fabric. I do prefer using this because the band, sometimes with like the resistance, like it doesn't hold the stretch as well as I would like, and you just have to like really tug on it, which like isn't very relaxing. So that's why I like using this. It's just, you can literally get this. I think this is just honestly an extra piece of another random piece of equipment I have that I've just been like, yep, this is gonna be my stretching band. But you can definitely just like make one as well. Like I know some people who use towels or like any type of long fabric will work. Next, we have our foam block. So this one I literally just got off Amazon. I'll try to link it below. I'll try to find it, but it was like $24 and I love this thing. I use it for a lot, not only for my stretching, but also for modifications. For a lot of my clients, whether they're doing push-ups or any type of like kneeling type movement, this just is way better on our knees. So we're not just like shoving our joints into the hard wooden floor or like rubber flooring. So yeah, definitely use this. But now that I've showed you everything, make sure you guys have all your stuff ready, and we're gonna start with a warm up first, just to make sure our muscles are nice and warm, and then we're gonna jump right into that stretching routine. So I have my equipment all with me right on the mat, so it's very easily accessible. But first we're just gonna start off with a little bit of a warm up. We're gonna just easily do 30 seconds of just like light on the spot skipping or jogging, whatever you would like. So we'll go for that for 30 seconds in 3, 2, and go. So just on the spot. Again, before we start our stretching routines, I do like to make sure we're nice and warmed up because we're doing more of a lower body focus. We will be focusing more on that area to warm up. By all means, if you want to start swinging your arms or anything like that, you definitely can, but I just kind of want to get everything moving and grooving in my lower body. So we have 10, 9, 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, and 1. Next, we're just gonna do really big hip circles. Typically for hip circles, I tend to stand very straight. For these ones, I am gonna just shift my weight back and forth. Again, just a little bit more movement just to warm us up. 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. And then we're doing the same thing going the other way. So just stepping in. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. Now the other side, again, a little more shift as we go out. 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, and 10. And now the other way. 1. It's gonna feel a little weird sometimes. Sometimes when you go the inward direction, you're kind of like, this feels weird. 7, 8, 9, and 10. Just kind of getting more into the specific stretch routine. Our lower body is relatively warmed up. We're just gonna do some hip circles. Again, this can just be added into your general routine, but this is still technically what I call a warm up. A little bit more dynamic, that's why. So that's 4 and 5, and then we're gonna go the other direction. 2, 3, 4, and 5. Ooh, did you hear that crowd? That was my hip. That was so nice. So next what we're gonna do is we're gonna do like a little bit of like a, if you're a dancer, a demi-plie, or just like a small little squat. We're gonna stretch all the way up, and then down, bend the knees, stand back up. We're gonna go for 5. So a little dip, big stretch up, reaching towards the ceiling, down to the ground, nice straight legs, compress, micro bend, roll up, again, up, down, compress, down, and up. 2 more times. Okay, so now that we've done that, we're gonna get a little bit more into the actual straddle type stretches. So this is for anyone who's trying to get their straddle, pay attention to the next couple. We're gonna just start by grabbing our ankles, and you guys have probably seen me do this one a ton. Grabbing our ankles, getting as low as we can, and then just extending, getting a big stretch in the back of our legs, and then back down, sitting into that squat. That's 2. 4, ooh, 5. Those are my elbows, man. I'm crafty today. Facing the front, just so you can see me a little better. We're gonna go over to our right side. So we're gonna hold this here for 10 seconds. I got my watch on right now, so that's how I'm timing it. So we got 5, 4, 3, 2, and 1. We're gonna lean into that left leg and back up for 5. 2, 3, feeling it all the way on the inside of the leg, 4, and 5. Now we're just gonna lean into this leg, get a stretch here, but also into this hamstring. So we're gonna go 1, 2, 3, 4, and 5. We're gonna be here, we're gonna face this way now. Our toes are gonna be forwards. And we're gonna flex and back up. 2, 3, 4, and 5. Back to the front, we're gonna put that left leg, knee down. This would be a great time to use that pad if you'd like. Knee down, we're gonna sit here. We're gonna rock back, flex this toe to the ceiling, sit back, bum to heel, rocking back for 5. So 3, 4, and 5. And you're just gonna sit here. Again, you wanna feel that stretch right in the inside of that leg, running all the way up, reaching forward, flexing that toe. We have 5 more seconds. So 5, 4, 3, 2, and 1. Coming out of that stretch, we're gonna switch and go to the other side. So going over to this side, we're just gonna come over and hold for 10, 9, 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1, and then we're gonna rock back. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. And coming here. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Turning our feet completely, flexing that front leg. Rocking back. 1, 2, 3, 4, and 5. Grabbing our mat again. Kneeling. We're gonna flex that toe. Rock back for 1, 2, 3, 4, and 5. And then we're gonna sit in this stretch. This one we're sitting in for 15 seconds. So again, flexing that leg, feeling a big stretch all the way through your adductor. We have 5, 4, 3, 2, and 1. Coming out of that stretch. So you should feel the inner parts of your thighs feeling very warm and flexible now. We're gonna go into our straddle sit. Most important thing here is that our toes and knees are facing the ceiling. We never want to be internally rotated, always externally rotated. And all we're gonna do here is just walk our hands out as far as we can. Once you feel a little bit of stretch, we're gonna hold here. The first hold is gonna be for 10 seconds. So you start to feel a little stretch, stop it there, hold 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. You're gonna walk it back in. Big breath in, and then you're gonna do another stepping out. This time aiming to go a little further than last time. Again, once you feel that slight resistance, try to aim to go a little further, and then we're gonna hold for another 10 seconds. Again, keeping those legs externally rotated. We have 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Walk our hands back in. One more deep breath, we're gonna do it one more time, so big breath in, and then walk our hands out, aiming to get as flat as possible. And again, we're gonna hold for 10 seconds. So you can do this one anywhere between 3 to 5 times, minimum 3, just so that we really are challenging ourselves and trying to reach a little bit more forward. And that was not too easy. And we're gonna come up, that's 10 seconds. We're gonna flex our feet. We're gonna stretch up and then to the side. So we're gonna go to our left first. So up, and to the side, big stretch in our obliques. We're gonna hold it there for 5, 4, 3, 2, and 1. Back up, and now we're just gonna do 5 reaches. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Last one we're gonna hold for 10. So again, trying to aim to be a little bit further than that first reach. So 5, 4, 3, 2, and 1. We're now going to turn our shoulders square to this leg. Again, aiming to be as close to the leg as possible. We're going to hold this stretch 10 seconds. So we have 5, 4, 3, 2, and 1. We're going to come back up. We're going to do another 10 seconds really quick. So quick little 5 seconds. And then coming back down, holding for 10. Now I know a lot of people always ask why I always hold for around 15 to 10 seconds, especially for this routine and sometimes in my app as well. Mostly because I do want to make this a routine that's more doable for an everyday life and not something that's a huge task. So I find if something's going to take 30 seconds, each position, each stretch, and you have to do both sides, it tends to get a little bit lengthy and most people don't want to be stretching for like 30 to 45 minutes. So this routine in general will be probably close to 15-20. Especially with all the talking and everything, but it just makes it a little bit more doable. And especially as a beginner who's just starting to get into it, holding these stretches for a little bit less is totally fine and you'll still find progress. As you get more flexible, I definitely do recommend kind of increasing that a little bit because then you're gonna also enjoy your stretching routine a little bit more. So holding those stretches for a little bit longer, taking that extra time won't be so daunting and so like, ew, I don't wanna do it. It'll be a little bit more enjoyable. So that's kind of my reasoning behind starting off smaller with the time range and then working our way up gradually. So that being said, we'll now go to the other side. So we're reaching up over to our right side. Nice big stretch as far as we can. 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. And then we have those 5 reaches. So 1, 2, 3, 4, and 5. Turning our shoulders square, going to that front leg. We're gonna hold 10 seconds. So here right now, I'm holding it 10 seconds for the video, but again, if you do want to hold it for a little bit longer, if you're someone who's a little bit more advanced and really, really trying to get their splits, then this could be held for upwards of 30 seconds. Coming up really quick, little 5-second rest, 3, 2, and then we're gonna reach again. Overall, I will say a stretching routine for middle splits is also probably not as enjoyable because it's a little bit more stiff for most people. Most people aren't super flexible in their adductors and they find it quite uncomfortable, to be stretching. So that's another reason why the time frames are a little bit shorter there as well. So now making our legs as wide as we can. Now if you're here, that's totally fine. You can do the exact same sequence that I'm about to do. We're gonna have our legs out. We're gonna be going onto our elbows and then leaning forward. So this is not trying to get our body flat. This is, I want you to imagine these inner thighs of yours coming over and into the ground, so that way we're getting more of that like adductor middle split stretch. So coming here and really focusing on pushing our like inner legs into the ground and leaning forward. You're gonna feel a bit more of a stretch there, as well as all the way through the leg. Just on our elbows again, I'm just using the foam pad. We're gonna hold for 5 more seconds. So 3, 2, and 1, and then back. So what I want you to imagine for this stretch is that if I were to go into my middle split and actually come over, that's the same kind of like pressure that I'm putting into this inner thigh area. I'm trying to push my pelvis forward and downwards into the ground, so that way when I do go into my middle splits, it does feel a little bit more familiar. So I'm gonna back up a little bit just so you can see me a little better. Again, as wide as we can. We're gonna do it like one more time. So down, you're gonna push your legs into the ground and kind of roll forward, almost like pelvic tilting your bum, or your pelvis I should just say, but just tilting your bum forward. We're gonna hold for 5, 4, 3, 2, and 1, and then let it go. So now we're kind of getting into that middle splits area of stretching this area. So someone who is trying to get their middle splits, starting from the straddle stretches onwards is kind of like where you're going to want to pay attention to. But again, everything kind of ties in, whether you're trying to get your middle splits, your straddle, or your pike. It's all like the very similar hamstring adductor muscle groups that you're trying to release a little bit. And then depending on how tight your glutes are, that's going to be another area that you should want to focus on as well. So moving on from these ones, what we're gonna actually do now, this one's gonna seem a little daunting depending on someone's flexibility. I'm gonna put my foam pad in front of me again. I'm gonna start with my legs out. This time, the knees will be internally rotated, so kind of facing forward. You're just gonna slide your feet out, and I will say it's a little easier to do this on a wooden floor because it forces you almost to slide into your splits. We're gonna be here, flip my feet down, and then holding our middle splits as low as we can. For this one, we're gonna go for, again, just 10 seconds. So 5, 4, 3, 2, and 1. Slowly roll out of it. Kind of shake your legs, slowly bring them in, shake them out, just so that way they're not too stiff. And we're gonna do that one more time, working from the top. Again, you wanna try to get a little bit further each and every time. So starting to slowly come down and sit right in that split. So, here we go. 5 more seconds. 4, 3, 2, and 1. So, if you're someone who would need blocks for this would be a perfect time to have your hands on those blocks, slowly sliding forward, or having your hand on the actual handles of the strong blocks as well if needed. So that's some of the middle split stretching. So now moving on into the next stretch, which is going to be a frog stretch. This is a great regression for a middle split. It looks very similar to a middle split, just our legs are bent. In all honesty, you're going to notice a lot of these stretches just are a little bit more uncomfortable to do in public, whether you're female or male. It's just like one of those ones where you're like, ooh, I don't know if I want to do this in public. So I always do my stretching at home. There's no reason why you have to do it at the gym. By all means, you can definitely do, like I said, the warm up and then just do it at home rather than just having to do it post-workout. Especially if you're someone who's a little more shy in the gym, because a lot of these stretches, again, are just a little bit more, they're just a little more comfortable to do in the gym. That's all I'll say. It's like, I just tend to like to do them at home, but by all means, do them wherever you want. We're gonna head into our frog, so knees out into a 90 degree, elbows on the ground, trying to push our pelvis as close to the floor as possible. And making sure not to arch your back too much, because then you're gonna feel a little bit of pinching. It's like aching. So keep our core tight, as well as just letting the body weight just like sink into the floor. So we're gonna hold this here for the 5, 4, 3, 2, and 1. Shift to one side, stretch this leg out, and then bring it out and trying to get into as low as possible. So one leg will be in that frog position and one leg will be in that split position. Just trying to get as deep into that stretch as possible. We have 5, 4, 3, 2, and 1. Slowly coming out. We're gonna switch sides. Again, into that frog position, one leg bent, the other leg straight, really focusing on that stretch. We're gonna hold it there. 5, 4, 3, 2, and 1. All right. So those are the main stretches that I tend to do for our middle splits. So now we're gonna go more into the hamstring, because flexible hamstrings and our sit and reach is also really important for our middle splits. But again, it's not like you see a pike, like someone who does a pike sit might not necessarily be able to do a split. So that's why I've kind of like divided them into 2 different, or I guess 3 different categories of the straddle, middle split, and pike. So for pike sit, very simply, feet are gonna be pointed at first, especially if you're a beginner. If you're more advanced, by all means, flex them. We're just gonna reach towards that front feet, plural. I don't know why I said that. And just holding. We're gonna be here for another 10 seconds, trying to really compress. Let the head relax. And 1. And to get a little more of an emphasis, we're gonna bring 1 foot in and then reach towards that other leg. Pushing this knee down, really stretching forward. Feeling a good amount of lengthening in your hamstring here. So we're gonna go for 5, 4, 3, 2, and 1. And then switch. Holding here. Big deep breaths. Each breath you take, you wanna get a little bit closer to that leg. 5, 4, 3, 2, and 1. And then we're just gonna cross 1 foot over, flex them both, and you're gonna do little pulsing reaches for 10. So just reaching, so 1, nice and controlled, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. So one thing I want you guys to be careful of as you are doing these reaches, that you're not like super bouncing into them. They're nice, slow, and controlled, because it's not ballistic style. We're just kind of pulsing and reaching with it. And again, in a very slow, controlled manner, nothing sharp or painful when you're doing it. Just slowly reaching a little far forward for 10. 6, 7, 8, 9, and 10. And then one more time, we're gonna just do that regular pike stretch. We're gonna hold it for 10 seconds. Dropping the head, hugging those legs nice and close. We have 5, 4, 3, 2, and 1. So that is it for today's stretching routine. We went over stretches specific for straddle, as well as middle splits, as well as our sit and reach. So hopefully you guys enjoyed this video. If you did, make sure to like, subscribe, and comment. And again, you can always check out my app for more in-detail stretches or different routines for anywhere, for like literally anything, I should say, sorry, from mobility, pistol squats, upper body strength, handstands, it's all on there. I'll link it below. But again, hopefully you enjoyed this video, and I will see you guys next time.